Okay, assalamu alaikum everyone. Hope you are doing great. So today I'm going to explain you the derivation of demand curve using indifference curve approach. And demand curves can be like of two types. One is negatively sloped demand curve like this. That is a normal demand curve that shows negative relationship between price and quantity demand. You already know that and you have studied it in AS level economics. So when price is suppose P1, quantity demand is Q1. If price falls to P2, quantity demand will rise to Q2. So this is the negative relationship that generally happens in case of normal goods. And another type of demand curve is positively sloped, and it is exceptionally positive, showing positive link between quantity demand and price level. For example, if price is initially P1, quantity demand is Q. If price falls, quantity will also fall. So it looks a different strange thing, but it actually happens in case of giffen goods. And giffen goods are the goods that are worst quality products, and generally people consume them when they have lesser purchasing power. So whenever price falls, purchasing power of consumers will increase, and as a result they will basically reduce consumption of giffen goods and they will move on to the normal goods. So this is why normal demand curve is normally negatively sloped, and exceptional demand curve is positively sloped. So this was a basic idea, and now we are moving to the derivation of demand curve for normal and giffen goods when demand curve is negatively sloped and positively sloped. So the lower panel shows quantity demand on X and price on Y-axis, and price on Y-axis, this is origin point, and upper panel shows X good, that is kind of any product, and it is a normal good. Right now we are considering normal good, this is normal good, and on Y-axis we have another type of good, that is Y good, and we don't know what type of good that is kind of neutral good, we don't consider that, but we are focusing on X good only, that is normal good. And now we assume that initially price is P, that is, let's suppose $10, and initially price was $10 and now it decreases to $8. Then what will happen to the budget line, indifference curve, and consumer equilibrium? Let's have a look on the upper panel of the graph. Let's assume initial budget line is AA, and initially equilibrium takes place at point E, for example, where budget line is tangent to the indifference curve IC. And if we draw a perpendicular from equilibrium point to the lower panel, then we will find a quantity Q, and initially price was $10, so we will pinpoint basically label point A where perpendicular from E to Q intersects $10 price. Now we are assuming that there is a fall in price of X good, normal good, and when price of X good falls, then budget line will shift like this. So it is a pivotal shift, so budget line will move from AA to A1, for example, and new equilibrium will take place at point E1, somewhere to the right hand side of the initial equilibrium, because we know that in case of normal good, when price falls, quantity demand will increase. So we will have to draw another IC curve. So new budget line A1 is tangent to the new indifference curve IC1. So now draw a perpendicular from E1 to Q1 quantity, and now price has decreased from $10 to $8. So this perpendicular intersects $8 price at point B. So we got these 2 points, small a and small b, and if we join these points with a line, then we will find out a normal demand curve like this. So this is negatively sloped. Sometimes examiner asks assess whether demand curve is always negatively sloped. So you will say that it is negatively sloped in case of normal goods, and you will have to draw this graph as well to explain your idea. And next I'm going to explain why a demand curve can be positively sloped, and there is a case of giffen goods. So let's have a look on case of giffen goods. I have an initial graph, this one, and we have the graph in lower panel. Lower graph shows quantity demand on X and price on Y-axis. This is origin point, this is also origin point, and this is X good, and this time we show giffen good on X. This is giffen good, that is worst quality product, and we have another good, Y good, on Y-axis, and we don't know what kind of good it is because we are not concerned about that. And next thing we assume is initial price that was $10 for example initially, and now it falls to, let's suppose, to $8. And in the upper panel we have to draw a budget. Their initial budget line is suppose AA, and an initial equilibrium, let's suppose, takes place at this point where budget line is tangent to indifference curve at point E. We draw a perpendicular to connect it with the lower panel of the graph. So quantity is initially Q, for example. Initially price was $10, and this perpendicular intersects price line $10 at point A. Now what happens if there is fall in price of X good? Budget line will shift this. So again, this is a pivotal shift. Budget line will move from AA to AA1, and this time X good is a giffen good. So it's a quantity of giffen good. So new equilibrium will move to the LC curve is IC1, and new equilibrium is at E1, and we will draw a perpendicular connecting it to the lower panel of the graph. Now quantity is Q1.
The goods that are worst quality products, and when price falls, people purchase less of those goods because these goods are quality products, and if their price falls, consumers' purchasing power will rise, and when purchasing power increases, people purchase lesser quantity of these